begin with breaking news.
That breaking news out of this usually quiet college town rattled by violence. 3 stabbings in less than a week, all at night, all outside. 2 men are dead. A woman is in critical condition. Right now, as authorities search for the attacker or attackers, people are scared. They're wondering if they're safe.
Yeah, and as a result now, some businesses are closing early, and UC Davis is making changes with some classes now going remote, and that starts right away.
As of today, we have worked with our academic senate to have a policy now where every class that ends after 6 p.m. will be taught remotely. And that will be on an ongoing basis indefinitely, and we'll reevaluate the need to continue doing that as the situation progresses.
So a lot of change is happening. Here's where the crimes happened, all within 3 miles of each other. The first one was last Thursday. That's when David Bro's body was found in Central Park. Detectives not sure when he was killed, and there were no witnesses to that crime.
Then on Saturday night, 20-year-old UC Davis student Kareem Abu Najm was found dead at Sycamore Park. Police say there was a witness that was able to give a vague suspect description.
And now we have this most recent attack just last night. This happened just before midnight. This one happening at a homeless camp off of 2nd and L Streets. This is just north of 80 and near some railroad tracks. A woman was stabbed there while inside her tent. She is in the hospital. She is listed in critical condition.
From the investigation to community fears, we have live team coverage with our team of reporters. Let's begin with KCRA 3's Ty Steele anchoring our coverage from the Davis Police Department. Ty?
The city of Davis in crisis tonight, and for good reason, after those 3 brutal stabbings in the span of less than a week, killing 2 men and injuring 1 woman. We are just a few miles from where that first attack happened that killed David Bros back in April 27th. Here at the Davis Police Department, I can tell you it is a flurry of activity, all hands on deck, as you might say. I just ran into the police chief about 15 minutes ago, and he doesn't have any updates as far as the investigation are concerned, but he did have some really good news when it comes to resources, which has been a challenge here for the Davis Police Department. He says even more outside agencies are now coming in to help outside of the Davis Police Department, even the FBI part of this investigation, and for good reason, because we still do not have a suspect or suspects in custody in relation to these brutal attacks. For the very latest now on the investigation, we go to KCRA 3's Brittany Hope. She is also at the Davis Police Department. And Brittany, you have been out here all day long. You were at that press conference in the noon hour. What is the latest on the investigation?
So Ty, you mentioned resources, and that is really a big asset at this point. Right now, there are 3 different crime labs set up that are all processing different evidence, and that's really in thanks to the FBI, the Department of Justice, and the Sacramento County District Attorney's Office. Now, the police chief told me today, really the hope for that is finding evidence, linking DNA that could lead them to a suspect, and they say we could have more information from that evidence and from all of that processing as soon as today.
We're getting questions, is it safe to go outside? Well, we've had 3 stabbings, 2 homicides, and they've occurred over the past couple of days. That's, to my knowledge, not ever occurred in Davis.
A first for the usually quiet college town of Davis, now struggling to put together the pieces of this challenging and growing investigation. Police Chief Darren Pytel says he still doesn't have enough evidence to officially link the 3 stabbings.
At this point, we're going through hundreds of tips.
And today, new help came to the city from the federal government.
We've been working with the FBI on helping us with evidence. And they're in town today, and well, we've been using them to help us with evidence for a couple of days now, but they're in town today to help with the investigation and also helping us collect all of the tips that are coming in and providing resources to start going through them a lot quicker.
At this point, investigators have witnesses from the 2nd and 3rd stabbings that they're working with, but what they're missing is video.
We don't have any city surveillance footage. And so far, we don't have any footage that we're prepared to say is directly linked and that we're willing to release. If at some point we do feel confident in having video that can help us apprehend the person, we will release that.
For now, officers, deputies, and investigators from across Northern California are here going door to door to parks, schools, and encampments too, searching for who could have done this and why.
And back out here live, it's a good time to remind you, if you have any sort of tips, any sort of video that could help officers, you are encouraged to call Davis Police. You can also do that anonymously. Now, something else we're waiting for today as well is a sketch of the suspect. Again, you heard that there are witnesses from the second and third stabbing. Both of those stabbings, people actually had communication with the suspect. So there's at least 4 or 5 people who have seen this man or these men. Again, officers say that there are appointments that are being had today to write those sketches out and to really work with those witnesses. So as soon as they have that sketch, they said that they'll release it to us, and then we'll be able to broadcast it out to you so that the word can spread as quickly as possible. For now, we're live at Davis Police Headquarters. Brittany Hope, KCRA 3 News.
Brittany, standing out here live in front of the Davis Police Department, you get the sense this is such a vibrant city, such a walkable city. People are active here. A man just ran by on his daily jog. There are people across the street in the park. It's such an alive city, and with so much anxiety right now with these unsolved, brutal stabbings, any talk of a curfew to keep people safe?
It is an alive city, and there's a lot of people who use their bike as their primary form of transportation here, especially with the university and all of these bike paths. Now, I did ask the police chief that today, and he said at this point they don't want to do a curfew, and there's a few reasons for that. He said that would mean shutting down the city, shutting down businesses and the campus. He said at this point it would take too many officers to really enforce that curfew. At this point, with the officers they have here and all the help they're getting from the outside, they want to focus that on the investigation and keeping people safe during the nighttime. But that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen right now.
All right, Brittany Hope live for us also at the Davis Police Department. And to your point, there are homicide detectives, we're told, that are sleeping under their desks in between shifts trying to piece this investigation together. So it truly is all hands on deck 24 hours a day. Now, while there won't be a curfew, as Brittany just mentioned, some businesses are choosing out of an abundance of caution to close down early. Let's go through those businesses. There are 3 of them right now. Woodstock's Pizza is one of the businesses, also Climbing Gym Rocknasium, and then tomorrow's Davis Farmers Market is canceled. Again, these businesses, out of their own sense of safety for the community, are choosing to close down, to put in place their own curfew of sorts. And again, no curfew for the city of Davis, but this is a fluid situation that could change. We'll let you know if that does happen. Also, the most recent stabbing was the friends of a woman who was stabbed were in a tent next to hers when they say the attacker came to terrorize them. So there was a witness in this third attack, this woman that was stabbed inside of her tent and was not killed but was severely injured. Let's listen to what those witnesses had to say about the suspected attacker.
I felt like he was lurking around my tent. I heard some sticks snapping. I heard my tarp snap, and I touched the back of my tent. It was tense at first and loosened up. And I was like, man, like, God, just protect us all, man. Next thing you know, I hear her screaming, oh, God, help, please, he's here.
We need to be protected. We're humans, too. Just because we don't have a home and keys, that doesn't make it any less safe, of a person.
So again, some witness accounts of what this suspect may or may not look like. No suspect description in the first attack, but in the last 2, there is what law enforcement are calling similar tendencies between those witness descriptions. So again, they cannot officially connect these 3 stabbings, but they are working to solve that right now. Another concern out here in the city of Davis for this entire community is the homeless population. We know that 2 of the individuals who were attacked, one who was killed and one who we just mentioned, were homeless individuals living here in the city. So there is the concern for that community is top of mind. These people are living outdoors, unprotected, vulnerable in many ways. So there has been talk about outreach to these communities, trying to get them off the streets, at least in a temporary fashion, to keep them safe. We have KCRA 3's Michelle Bandur following this aspect of the story, concern for the homeless. Michelle?
Well, Ty, we are here where the third attack took place near 2nd and L Streets at that homeless encampment that you were talking about. And take a look, police are still on the scene here. They are collecting evidence, and there is an area you can see investigators, crime scene investigators, working right there at that tent where the victim was inside sleeping when police say that she was stabbed just before midnight. Now, this is a large crime scene area. Police have 2nd Street shut down for about a mile. It's blocked off here at 2nd Street, at L Street, all the way to Cantrell Street. And for the people who stay here in this camp, now they have to find somewhere else to go. And the police and the city of Davis are working together to come up with a plan to keep these residents safe. The director of social services and housing, Dana Bailey, tells me folks are scared and they're coordinating with providers such as the Davis Community Meals and Housing to get people indoors and safe, especially overnight. They're looking for extra mattresses to put on the floor of the shelter to get as many people as they can into a safe space. And police are also looking to the unhoused to help with the criminal investigation to try to catch this killer.
We try to go to as many of the locations that we know that homeless are at to both provide descriptions of the suspect, but also to let them know what's going on and to ask them whether they have seen this person or anybody who may resemble the person.
And again, police are still here collecting that important evidence, trying to identify who the suspect is. Now, the city tells me it's getting calls from service providers and stakeholders who are actually eager to help the homeless. And they say because the suspect is still at large, the city says it just has to be really careful on how they help the homeless get into the shelters, because maybe this person could just try to blend in and then they would have that whole different situation on hand here tonight. And so they're just trying to reach out to the homeless, get them into that safe area. Reporting live in Davis, Michelle Bandur, KCRA 3 News.
Yeah, a very scary situation, especially for this population. Michelle Bandur, thank you so much. And also a complicating factor for this investigation when you're talking about a transient population that may have witnessed a stabbing suspect. Locating those folks who may not have addresses, may not have a cell phone, it's further complicating what law enforcement is trying to do here. Back out here live at the Davis Police Department, the police chief just told me they do plan to meet with City Council tonight. There was already a scheduled City Council meeting here in the city of Davis, but this meeting has changed in tone. It will now focus on the investigation of these 3 brutal stabbing attacks. They're going to be open to the public, obviously, but they are asking for folks to tap in via Zoom to this meeting or online, whatever method is used for that, because they don't want people to be out in the community if they don't have to be, but they do want community involvement in this to answer those questions, to relay the latest information. So of course, we are going to have the latest from that meeting and the latest on this investigation and the community outcry right here on KCRA 3 throughout the evening. For now, Edie Gulston, back to you.
All right, Ty, thank you so much.
Well, we're continuing to follow this still unfolding story as police look for the person or people responsible for these killings and in some cases these murders. Download the KCRA 3 app for the breaking news alerts that we have with the latest developments, again, on this still unfolding investigation.